Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. We welcome you aboard Shit Talk Airlines today. We're glad to have you with us. It's a beautiful day to be out and about, and we're looking forward to the trip with all of you. We'll be traveling at a cruising altitude of 362 miles above sea level, and at an average speed of just over Mach 4. If you need anything along the way, just poke that little button above your head, and our very own David J. will come running to fulfill your every need, and might even bring you an overpriced glass of Chardonnay. Thanks again for flying Shit Talk Air.
Hey everybody, welcome to Shit Talk Reviews. It is a pleasure to be here as always. I am John, this is my buddy Derek, and David. How are you guys? You good?
Yeah,
we're good.
Are you? Are you guys? Now listen, I'm going to put it out there. I have a 10-man Brinks security force standing right outside the door today. Things got a little warm in here last week.
All right.
When we chatted Wolfie, so I just want you
Things
to
got a
know
little-
I have guys on standby looking out.
Today should be interesting.
ready to throw down.
I believe you are.
Ready.
John, notice I came in with no paper.
Which is both interesting
It is.
and a little disappointing because this is coming from the guy who claims to always come prepared.
I know.
So does this mean that you're ill prepared or you are so prepared that you don't need it?
We'll talk. Let's see how this
Oh
goes.
boy. What's the news? Anything good?
On what front? Just in general?
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, today was
I'm just trying to make conversation.
Today was a good day. I had a good day here
Listen,
today.
I will tell you that new website is popping. I'm excited about that.
Yep.
I'm excited about the new ministry. That was cool to listen to. And old man Al, Uncle Al, has a lot to say on the
Allie
new
J.
album. That's right, Al Jorgensen. I'm sure we'll end up reviewing that at some point. But yeah, all told, man, I'm great. We're past the Wolfie incident of last week. I loved us in puppet
Sorry, Dave.
form.
The puppets were great, John.
Puppets
by
are
the way.
great, so thank you.
Excellent.
I
to you
did. It
and
was
your
the
wife.
weirdest thing. I don't know what happened. You know, 1
Fabulous.
minute we're recording video. I went to
was
pull it
great.
up for the edit, and that's just what happened. So
Just to note, too, John, before we get started, that when I went to Dunkin' Donuts today, because I'm so cheap,
Yeah.
I got him coffee. And I got you, as always, everything bagel with cream.
Very nice.
Which
So
is-
you-
Nobody's
which is very
complaining,
kind.
but for a cheap guy, that was pretty nice.
Well, 95% of the, what Shit Talk Reviews is, like all this gear to light us up, the website, the stickers, all this other shit, John and I pay for it. But it's
That's
cool,
fine.
and even then at work,
Last
I have
time we
to,
were
I
in
have
that
to pay
situation,
for you
did I
to
not- John, did I
fly,
not
have
offer
to
my
pay for
credit
your
card?
hotel.
John, did I not?
you did.
Thank you.
You did.
You did contribute on my birthday to,
Yes, I
to
did.
a cause, and I
is very
appreciate
cool.
that.
Thank
so,
you.
so thank you, Dave. You're not all evil, just 95% evil and cheap.
Speaking of causes, one of the friends of the podcast, and we posted, Derek, you posted about this the other day, a friend of the podcast, Christian, and his father, their home went up in flames. I would love to say that's a euphemism for something, but it isn't. And we do have a post about that. So if you're feeling generous, if you're looking to help some folks out who could absolutely use some assistance right now, please check out our Instagram, hit that GoFundMe link, and give a couple of bucks. That'd be great. We appreciate everybody who has so far.
Well said.
On that front too, great kid, wonderful person.
Absolutely.
Will give you the skin off his back, huge metal head,
Not only the shirt, but the skin.
the skin. He would give you everything.
He probably would.
Yeah.
Christian's a good guy.
Good dude.
He's a great dude. So helping him and his dad out, they didn't burn the house down on purpose, not an arson. It was just a freak fire.
Yeah.
So help him out.
Yeah. As always, great to be here, and I'm curious about how this conversation will go this week. I have some thoughts as to how it might unfold, but let's get into it. We're talking about the latest release from Humanity's Last Breath. The album is called Ashen. Swedish band, been around since '09. Progressive metal, deathcore, name your genre. I don't know, but it's a heavy record.
Yeah,
So
that's
first,
an understatement.
First impressions.
Yeah, my first impression was I remember the first time I heard Far Beyond Driven by Pantera, and I go, how does it get any heavier than this? Back in the day. I listened to this after last week's podcast driving home, and I was like, yeah, it gets heavier. And in fact, I've often wondered that about Meshuggah,
Yeah.
for example. Well, this is probably heavier than Meshuggah, and, with all of the odd timing patterns and just chugga in there, You know, they obviously looked to Meshuggah as a North Star, but it's obvious that what they did was they tried to just blow this out of the water on the heaviness front.
And they did.
They did.
This is something
dark
I've
album.
never heard before. This is really, really heavy.
I had a feeling you would find it a little
this
out
is
there.
heavy. And I never shit on bands. I really don't. I respect everything that bands put out. I won't shit on the band, but this is just not for me. It's just not.
Look,
you
and
know,
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It was just, and I listened to it. I listened to it probably 4 or 5 times.
A whole 4 times?
I did. And it just,
see you really put in the work.
It was, it's heavy, man. It is just something I am not typically, something I typically just don't listen to.
Well, I tried to prep you.
You did.
Last
you
week.
did, for sure.
It is I think it's 45, 47 minutes. And it is pretty much an assault from beginning
to end. It is. It kicks you in your balls.
Yeah. I think it's one of those records that if you're not prepared for it, maybe not prepared, but if it's not something you're into, you're going to struggle with it because it is intense.
Yeah, it's intense.
It is an intense record.
Do you know what makes it more intense is on Apple Music, there's an upside down phallic xenomorph nutsack that's like swinging back and forth while you're, listening to this. And so I'll be working and listening to it, and you'll look over and I'll just start laughing uncontrollably because somewhere Geiger, who created the look of the xenomorphs, is going, rock on, fuck yeah. And this is just ridiculous. And it looks like a nutsack.
It does look like an inverted swinging nutsack.
Huge nutsack.
Now, John, did you know
nutsack.
this band beforehand?
I did.
Okay.
I've been a fan of, back up a little bit. Buster Odeholm is one of the founder. He is the founder of this band. He is also the drummer and now also current bass player in another band called Viljarta. Similar in style. They each have their own kind of unique intricacies. But Humanity's Last Breath is kind of in keeping what we've been doing. It's largely a solo venture. Buster writes, records most of the stuff.
Geez, it seems like that's all we've been
I know.
talking about, right?
Which is coincidental.
One-man guys.
I didn't realize that
one
it was largely the Buster show.
It's just crazy how much is out there.
But
These
yeah,
guys doing this.
Buster records and produces and mixes everything. Philip Danielson adds vocals. Buster does some singing on this as well. They also have, I am totally going to butcher these names, so apologies. Cal Thomer plays live guitar, and Marcus Rossell handles live drums when they're on tour. But Buster is an absolute beast. The man is half demon. I love the work he does with Viljarta. I've always liked Humanity's Last Breath. So yes, long answer to a short question. I was familiar with them. And I knew what to expect. But I'm still blown away by what this guy does. I love his style.
Yeah, I don't mind the heaviness, but you never got a break from it. There's no breaks here.
In the end of the day, it lacks accessibility for Dave.
Sure.
And it's perfect. It's a beat down that Dave can go and take his 5150 cassette and hide from the ample abuse that this record puts down on him.
So now we're comparing Eddie Van Halen to this.
Well, yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not? You can't handle handle the abuse.
Maybe he's comparing. I don't know what he's comparing.
Yeah.
This is a slugfest. I'm not getting in the middle of.
This just was not for me, John.
Fair.
And it's fair.
Sure.
I'm not shitting on the guys. It's just not my cup of tea.
But on Catastrophe, there was some melody.
Catastrophize.
Catastrophize. Yeah.
There's a little bit of melody. There are a few seconds throughout this record where you get to come up for air. But you look into Webster's dictionary, the definition of brutality. It says, "See humanity's last breath."
I love it's just a bloody, disgusting atmosphere that's created, and it's atmospheric.
It's a super atmospheric record. Yeah.
Annihilation. I mean, it is literally the visceral pain of hell in an audio form.
I've said the same thing or thought the same thing. Like if there's a portal to hell somewhere on this planet, that's what you hear when you enter that portal.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The opener on it, Blood Spilled, is cinematic. Man, it sets the stage. It's dark. It again, that gateway to hell. It's a good
It's
gives you a good
disgusting.
snapshot of what you're walking into.
I just have a problem with the death growl. There's nothing worse than listening to a song and not know what the hell the guy's saying. That drives me insane. So that was, for me, it was not so much the music was heavy, but I'm a lyrical guy. You guys know that. I like listening to the music.
So, Dave, I'm sorry that about the 5150. I take that back. What did you like about the album? Was there anything you liked in there?
No.
So you don't like death metal meets prog
No.
at all?
I love progressive music. I like the prog.
You wouldn't,
We've covered prog bands here before that.
but this doesn't fall under
Meshuggah,
any
no
category
problem.
that you would like.
John, this was not.
What if
for
you
me.
strip the vocals away? Strip the all the work that
it's just-
that Philip did. If you put Philip in a corner, if you put Baby in a corner for a minute, would you?
It's too much for me. It's too in my face. There's no time to come up for air. I can't listen to music like that.
If I had a binky, I would hand it to you to go suck on so we could finish this podcast.
Because Derek, just because I don't like what he likes, then my opinion means shit, right?
He didn't say that.
Well, he's saying it in so many ways.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah, he
saying
is.
you can go
He
suck
likes
on
the
a
knuckle-
binky and
he likes the
listen to
knuckle-
5150
he
and
likes-
we'll talk about the
What's
band because
listen
it's
to
brutal.
5150? What does that mean?
It's just top of mind.
You know, he likes the knuckle dragging music. This is great for him. It's just not for me.
What about John picked it?
I picked it.
Yeah.
Then
John's-
again, I
John
picked,
gave us a full disclosure of what
I
was
I
ahead.
also picked
Yeah,
albums prior too that were not
nothing like this.
super
John.
highly rated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pick occasionally I like to pick something because I think it's an album that other people are going to be interested
guess
in
the question
outside
is,
of the three of us.
Can you go to a small venue and listen to this for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Live? I couldn't.
I would
I
enjoy
could
it.
not. Okay. That's,
I think I would enjoy it because I like the technical aspects of how it's put together. Like here's a fun fact for the gearheads out there. Most really super low down tuned stuff like this are recorded guitar parts anyway, are recorded on 7 or 8 string guitars. These guys historically have stuck to doing it on 6-string guitars, but they use super heavy gauge strings so they can crank it way down to drop F or drop G, which I know they did in the past. I'm pretty sure that's how they achieved this as well.
listen, I'm not questioning. However they want to make music, God bless them. Do what you got to do. Again, just not my cup of tea, man.
Fair.
There's
Fair.
intricacies in the music that are incredible, and there was intricate stuff last week that we listened to that that Wolfgang put in there in the music. It's just a different kind, and it does. You have to be a fan of heavy music to appreciate just the odd timing patterns. Some of the fills, the drum fills, are just vicious.
Buster is a monster.
It really just a monster musician, and I really liked Helly Andrea's vocals on "Instill." They were subtle, but there. Again, there's a lot to hear here. Yes, there's brutality. It's almost like you almost have to dissect the gore and the bloodshed and really listen to hear everything that there is to hear from track to track.
Yeah.
And you have to be a fan. It doesn't, just not everybody, it is not everybody's cup of tea. And I knew that coming into this, it wasn't going to be Dave's cup of tea. So I jotted down some, good things to just,
To slap
shove
Dave
up his
with.
ass and piss him off. But in the end of the day, it's not his cup of tea, and that's okay.
It's so
Listen, I have mad respect for anybody who can make music. I do.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a knock on these guys.
For
It's
years,
not.
I have said I always bring up Celine Dion. I am not a fan of what Celine Dion does, but I would never beat her
voice
up
is
for
amazing.
her talent and her ability and what she's able to produce. It's just not my thing.
I get it.
Same thing applies here.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, there is a lot going on.
Derek's
on this
right.
record.
You just got to have an acquired taste for this. You do.
Yeah. As some people, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Some people need their art spoon fed to them, Dave.
I mean, let's face it. If you're in the car and you played this to Case or he played this to
Oh my
Sal,
God, Case
they would tell you to get it off.
My wife would jump if I was driving
Exactly.
80 miles an hour down the highway and I fired this up. She would take
it
her
wouldn't
seatbelt
last
off
10
and
seconds.
jump out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd wind up in prison and she'd be dead. So I avoid this kind of stuff with my wife.
One name to bring up is Timothy Boque, the synth player that's in there. Just atmospheric just doom.
Soundscapes.
Hell. Soundscapes, just big sounds that, I mean, they could be in a horror movie.
Very cinematic, yeah.
And, I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights, and they actually have, they'll every now and then on Twitter, the Universal Studios and the Halloween Horror Nights will ask, what is it that you want to hear while you're here?
This is it.
Send us a soundtrack. And I'm going to tweet them from Shit Talk Reviews and say, hey, you got to listen to this. Put this on.
Yeah.
Let it play. People are going to feel like they're walking into hell.
I'd go to Halloween Horror Nights if I knew they were going to spin this.
I went a couple years ago when they had Rob Zombie playing. That was the main theme.
Sure.
And it was cool. It was,
Love Rob.
Yeah, and there
Zombie's different than this, though. I mean, it's different.
He's a little more. His
It's
stuff's a little
laid
more
back.
accessible.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, there is. This is a very atmospheric record. There's a lot going on with this, more so than in their prior releases. So, if you're looking for straight, rhythmic, chugfest ultra down tune, it's here. But there's also a lot of more
layers,
epic, wide,
skull crushing annihilation.
Yeah, it's annihilation.
Walking destruction.
Yeah.
It's a brutal fucking record. And I love it. I enjoy the hell out of it. And it's one that will be on many playlists of mine moving forward.
As will I. I will certainly keep that in my playlists, and I'll try my son out and see if he gives it a look.
Yeah. If the boy likes it, you know it's good.
Yeah.
Because he's developing some great tastes.
He is.
Unfortunately, this will not be on my playlist.
You're not gonna throw this in the car when you and your lady are out going out for Turkey Club Wednesday?
Sorry, guys. I respect what you do.
No, it's
or
fine.
watching The Real
But
Housewives like
this-
you did last night.
Hey, we got a shout out, didn't we?
No, that
Well,
wasn't,
Kind of
Sorta.
did.
not really. But all I know is that I wanted to talk about the fact that you watch Real Housewives.
I watched
Hilarious.
Real Housewives of Orange County
Check.
and New Jersey. Yeah,
Do you have a favorite?
New Jersey's my favorite.
It's okay.
I can't wait to take him to Boston. Like take him to New
Yeah,
Jersey.
because
guy to
Derek's
Boston.
the only one who's been to Boston. Because I've
No,
never.
You're just,
My son played hockey there for 14
yeah,
years.
but you're gonna
But
hate it.
but I don't
you're
know
gonna
Boston.
hate it. You're gonna throw stones the whole time.
Yeah, we are going to be. We probably talked about this before, but we'll be up in Boston on September 28th for God. Who is it? Death Ray Vision, Insight,
Cavalier Conspiracy.
Cavalier Conspiracy is headlining shows at Exhumed.
Maybe I think so.
Maybe?
I think that's
Derek is so Boston. He's got the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, but I'm wearing a New York
Makes up-
Giants
he
hat.
wears
so
the
I'm not that
hat.
bad. I'm wearing a Giants hat.
He's very like
Patriots
he
fan.
gets.
Well,
he
if we're going
he can't
based-
take the ball busting a little bit. He's so angry.
If we're
Boston.
judging based on hats, though, I'm guessing it's a
Yeah,
country
whatever.
club hat.
Yeah.
What country club are you
this is not a
affiliated
country
with?
club.
It isn't.
No.
It's Shit
All
Talk,
I know
Shit
is
Talk Country Club.
he's typical Boston. It's just no surprise. It's the way.
Yeah, you know
Well, you
that's
keep
okay.
running your mouth, you're going
That's
to
okay.
find out about Boston.
Yeah,
Because I know
man.
some people
I'm
there,
gonna
buddy.
beat you up.
I'm
Know
gonna
some
beat you up.
people.
That's going to be worse.
But at any rate,
Yes,
we
sir.
digress. We'll be there on the 28th of
Yes.
September for the show.
You know what I'm going to do?
But
Come
fucking
out. We
Death
would
Ray
love to
Vision.
hang out.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
I'm going to take him and throw him in the frog pond.
Okay.
It's like 2 feet deep. It's where they go skating in the winter in the middle of Boston. I just throw them in there with all the duck poop. Be
That
perfect.
sounds reasonable to me. Sorry for the interruption, but since we're all about the shameless self-promotion here at Shit Talk Reviews, I wanted to butt in real quick and mention that our website is now live. You can stop by shittalkreviews.com and check out all our podcasts, our written reviews, links to various playlists. You can grab yourself some stickers and swag, and you can even leave us an audio message just by clicking the microphone down in the corner. Be sure to sign up for our mailing list where we'll fill your inbox with just the right amount of fun stuff and cake recipes. You can also find a link on our website that will take you to our YouTube channel where we've got a few other clips up as well. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, now back to the show.
Listen, I wish I could say more about this, but it just wasn't for
Well,
me.
all right, you zip
fine.
it and we'll finish.
Yeah,
How
go
about
ahead.
that?
I've had it.
Should
I'll
I just
chime in.
kill his video feed
Yeah,
now?
just turn him off. He's
Yeah,
obnoxious.
you know.
He's very close-minded
No.
and cheap. cheap. All right.
Oh my God. Any standout tracks? Well, I would say just before the first song started and just after the last song ended is for you, Dave? Okay.
I think there was one. Was there a song named Linger on there?
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually did like that song. That was about it.
So this whole time you could have been contributing. And
It was
you chose
Linger
not to.
was okay. I could deal with
Jesus
Linger.
Christ, man.
I will say that this is the worst effort out of him that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, listen.
And it's disrespectful because this is something
That's
you're
not what I
passionate
wanna
about.
be.
And
My heart hurts a little bit.
Listen,
too,
I don't
Dave.
want to be disrespectful. I told you guys, no disrespect to the band. Anybody
just
who makes
disrespect to
music,
us.
Yeah.
Anybody who makes music, hats off. This wasn't for me. You asked me if my favorite tracks. Not really any. Linger kind of was okay. That was it for me. I'm sorry.
you listened 4 times. I listened.
It was
to
okay
Wolfie
when you didn't like
10
Wolf-
times.
it was
live.
okay you
I
didn't
listened
like
to
it?
it 10 times. I know the album. I know it through and through. I had an opinion. I had notes. You mailed it in.
You can
Be
listen
honest,
to
say
this
it.
album
Say it.
1,000 times.
Say it.
From beginning to end. It all sounded the same to me.
You're proudly ignorant. Say that you mailed it in and put no effort in. Say it.
I won't say it.
Say it.
I listened to this album 4 times.
4 is not enough.
Yeah, it was. It was enough
It's
after
not.
one. It was enough after one.
You are the epitome of proud ignorance, Dave.
You owe our 3 fans,
Yeah.
your hard work and thoughtful opinions, David.
Listen, I'm entitled to my opinion. I am entitled to that, and this wasn't for me. There's no way. What do you want me to do? Sit there all week and listen to
Yes.
something that I don't like?
Yes,
You know what I mean?
it's the gig, Dave.
You know what I'm going to do when I pick Cannibal Corpse in a couple weeks, man? Oh, yeah.
Is it worse than this?
It's equally as heavy. You'll like next week's pick.
It's
Dave.
pretty rough. So let's back to the standout.
Blood Spilled. I loved it.
track.
Withering, Instill, Catastrophize. Yeah, those are the top ones for me.
Withering and Instill were mine. They jumped right out with the off-time intros.
Yeah.
Buster does cool stuff, riding on the China, messing with the word escapes me,
Listen,
messing with the metrics.
there's no
Yeah,
doubt the
it's
guys
math.
are. There's no doubt they're talented. It's not. It's
Yeah,
not
no,
about that.
It's fine. It's
fine.
okay.
We moved on from this.
That's
Dave.
all
We're
right.
talking
Okay,
about
that's
what's
fine.
good.
I'm not here to shit on something.
This is not the
know what I mean?
this is not Dave Talk reviews. This is Shit Talk reviews, and there are 2 other people that liked the record.
Okay,
It's fine.
that's fair.
It's fine.
Yeah.
If any of our subsequent podcasts are just with 2 people, our listeners will know why.
Listen, this was an acquired taste.
It is. It is.
Plain and simple.
It's Scotch over whiskey. Whatever,
Well, maybe.
Come on, Dave.
A little
I'm
similar.
trying to help. Hey, shout out to our buddy Logan at Fat Beard Street Meats, by the way.
Yeah.
Good guy, good dude, great food.
And he is
And he's doing
agreed
some
to-
advertising
He's
with
going to be our first official advertiser.
Yeah.
So
Since
that's
the
awesome.
folks at Country Time still haven't called.
They will in time. In time.
Come on, Country Time.
You know why, John? Because it's not just all summer; it's other times too, and they'll call.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm available all year
I
round.
know
They're
you
not.
are.
And
It's
9
coming.
times out of 10, I'm not holding this in my hand.
Listen,
True.
we have Fat Beard
But for
Street Meat.
the fine folks at Coca-Cola, you can find us at shittalkreviews.com
Yeah, when we do podcasts on Friday afternoon, we need caffeine.
or Deja Blue. I will whore myself out to whomever.
Listen, Fat Beard Street Meat, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You are
Thank
the
you,
man.
Logan.
And we appreciate whatever ducats you give to us and feeding us really fattening food that makes where we are recording smell like huge farts. Thank you.
It's never mind. You know what? Let's rate this. What are you giving it, Dave?
Oh God, John.
You have to rate it.
Yeah, I know. This is.
It's
tough.
subjective. It's okay.
I didn't like it, but that's just me. It's not that I didn't like the band. I didn't like the music. It's a tough call.
Well, let's run through it. But on the production front, how do you feel, even as a
Production was-
non-fan?
Production was good, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah. Lyrically, disaster, because I couldn't hear a word he said. John, I probably would give it probably a 5.5, 6. I'm sorry. It's just,
That's
I'm
fine.
not a fan.
It's fine.
You know what I mean? I'm just not a fan of
And
the
it's
music.
it has it up
It's
until
nothing
today.
to do with the band, guys. apologize.
Yeah, up until today, it's been a great run with you and I.
You
I've
had
enjoyed
to
the
have known-
friendship.
both of you had to have known.
It's okay if the friendship ends here.
Listen, both of you had to have known I was going to come in the room and feel this way.
I
You
ain't
had
got-
to suspect it.
Yeah, you're closed-minded. It's cool.
Okay, because I'm closed-minded. You're right, Derek. That has everything to do with it.
Everybody's closed-minded.
Let me open up
everybody's
my mind,
open-minded.
Derek, and listen to something that I don't enjoy, but let me just listen to it 1,000 times and see if I can change my mind.
I listened to pop music for
You're right.
10 times last week, but
Pop
I did
music.
it for you. And I gave Wolfie a fair review.
Has Wolfie
How
responded?
John, how fucked up is that, right? So he talks about pop music. He says Wolfgang was pop music. But then in the next breath, fucking Def Leppard Pyromania is his favorite
you're the
band,
one that brought
favorite
it.
album,
It is
what
not.
is just as pop as
Guys,
you can
corners.
get.
Corners.
It is not.
Okay, it's not. You're right.
It
They
definitely-
didn't have
Def
7
Leppard-
radio
Def
tracks
Def
on the
Leppard
radio
is not
on that album.
a favorite of mine, of all time.
I took 4 Zoloft before we walked in here. I should have made sure you guys took them too.
It's just silly. It's a silly comment.
I'm going to crush this Coca-Cola can on your forehead.
Before you do that, how do you rate it? What's your number?
I gave it a solid 8, 10 for technicality. Love the production. I would have actually liked to have heard a little bit more of the subtle melodies and make it almost the two polar opposites, more polar opposite. And that's the only reason why I gave it an 8. But this is a record that I will continue to visit, and I hope that we hear more from Buster in the future.
I landed at an 8.5, and I was this close to going 9 with it just because I'm such a fan of Buster's. But there are things that I would have liked a little bit more dynamic, a little bit of relief, a little bit more relief here
Agreed.
and there would have been good.
Then that might have changed my whole
Sure.
opinion on it.
That being said, I still enjoyed it because I had a feeling I knew what the album was going to be like. It's like opening up a fire hose right in your face, full blast for an hour.
No doubt.
So yeah, a strong 8.5. And you know what? Maybe I'll go 8.75 because I know Dave didn't like it.
I think you should. So go 8.75.
I'll go 8.75.
And you know what?
Happily.
On that front, I'm going to move it up to 8.25 just because Dave didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like the music. It's not so much the band. You guys are so fucking...
Dave,
It's the
you've
music,
said it.
not the band. I won't shit on a band.
I
Won't.
usually have your back, Dave. You know
I
this.
know. You knew that this was going to happen. It's
I knew.
okay.
I knew.
Listen,
this,
guys, it's okay.
I knew this was
Yeah.
not a questionable album, but I knew
Yeah.
this was going to be a tough album.
This is tough for me because this isn't my genre.
Well, like last week, you're the rock guy in the
I'm the
house.
80s
Derek's
rock
the
guy.
thrash guy in
No,
the
no.
house. I'm the prog guy in the house. So it's fine. You don't love it. You don't love it. You don't have to.
No.
Yeah. Who's next?
Earn.
Earn. Oh,
a
Earn.
Feast on Sorrow. And these guys loved our sausages, our sausage
That's true.
washing posts from a while back.
Boy.
This album is incredibly dynamic. It's dark. Again, darkness will consume the light. It's about suffering and loss and the emptiness that follows.
Sounds great.
So it's a pretty happy record.
It's
Yeah,
a
it
very
sounds awesome.
but it is not nearly as heavy as what the last week, and there is some melodies in there. There's a lot to hear, and I think Dave will find acceptance with this, and he will find things that he
How
can
long
sink
has
his teeth
Earn been
into.
around? I don't know these guys.
Well, you'll find out next week.
Okay. I'll do my
I hope you do your research.
I will.
I hope you choose to do your research next week, Dave.
I'm always prepared. This time around, I wasn't because it's just I had nothing. I really had nothing to add this week, unfortunately.
Well, you've talked more than the two of us who actually like the record, so good job.
Whatever. Remember, I'm kind of like I have a fan
I'm kind of
base.
like
I have a fan
the
base.
most
Derek.
important
You
person
don't.
here, and you
Who
guys
has the
aren't.
fan base? Me or you?
I mean,
Oh man.
You know what I mean? I know it hurts. I get it.
I'm not remotely hurting at all.
I have fans. You don't. Sorry.
You keep telling yourself that.
On that, let's wrap this up. We've managed to keep the fisticuffs,
To
well,
a limit. To it. Yeah.
They didn't
They didn't go.
It didn't
We didn't
happen.
throw.
It didn't pop off
We
in here.
didn't throw.
There was no throwing of the down.
Yes.
So. All right. Well, always a pleasure to sit in the room with you two bastards.
I enjoy you. I just don't particularly enjoy him.
But that's the whole
Right.
vibe, right?
That's why it's called shit talk.
Yeah.
We're not shit talking the bands as much as we can. It's just him.
No.
I wish I could have added more today to the music part of this
Yeah, you brought nothing to the
podcast.
table
At
all.
it's just not for me, John.
You know,
Fair.
what's this?
You know what I mean?
You know what this is?
I have no idea what
It's
that is.
called a zero, and that's Dave. He was a zero this week.
I believe you guys might actually. He may come after you in the parking lot.
It's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
I wish I could have added more. I'm sorry. Guys.
You're a big giant goose egg. You're like the Great Gazoo.
This was actually the first one that you've brought to the table that I didn't like. This was the first one, I think.
No.
Well, now I've got something to strive for.
That's not true, Derek. I've like
He didn't
most
like
of his.
You didn't like Avenged Sevenfold. No,
Well, none of us did.
You can't single that one out.
Yeah, us and the rest of the country.
Did I tell you about? Yeah, I told you the voicemail I got from Phil with Avenged Sevenfold.
What?
Well, we'll get into it. We'll get
okay.
into it. We'll get into it off camera.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. On that note,
Oh, John, can I just give a shout out to my
Please.
number one fan, Kate? Thank you.
what about your number 2 fan, James?
Yeah. No.
Nothing to say to James? James introduced you to the Unchained Dave and Dave podcast, and you have nothing to say to him?
I want to get back to James. I want to talk to James because he's a big fan. He's a fan. He's one of my fans.
Puppet
Yes,
Dave.
I will definitely get back to James. James actually saw what I was seeing, unlike Derek. So I will definitely get to James, and I appreciate him reaching out.
When's the wedding?
For
You and James.
I don't know.
Is
We'll
Wolfie
see.
gonna come and play? You know.
That would be awesome. That'd be a great day for me and James, wouldn't it?
Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah,
on
I'll
that
reach
note,
out to James.
Yeah, you say hello to James.
I will.
Until next week, boys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, John, as always.
See ya.